Hey, good morning, everybody. My name is Larry Jacobs. This is Pre-K-12 Education Talk Radio, and it's Leap Year Day. Well, we're not going to have that for another 4 years. February 29th. That's weird. February 29th, 2024. And thanks so much for being with us today here on Pre-K-12 Education Talk Radio. We're going down to Virginia this morning. I live in Maine, where we've had warm weather all this week and then for the rest of the week. But today it's something like, we woke up this morning, it was about 9 degrees, okay, with the wind blowing. So I can't even imagine what that wind chill was this morning. But it's going to go away, and we're going to be in the 50s for the next 6 or 7 days, just like Chicago had yesterday. It's a weird, just one-day event. I think it's going to be warmer down in Virginia, where we're going today, down to Loudoun County. It's Leesburg, Harper's Ferry, all that sort of stuff. Loudoun County Public Schools. We're going to talk to Jennifer Evans there, who is the Director of Student Mental Health Services for Loudoun County Public Schools, and also with Jennifer Rojas. This is the Jennifer Hour. Okay, we're going to have Ms. Rojas, okay, who's with Cook Center, my old friends, Cook Center out in Utah, cookcenter.org, and they try to prevent suicide, teen suicide. They're a great organization. They've started something called parentguidance.org, okay, which Loudoun County Public Schools is using to help parents in these tough times in schools with their kids, etc. I'm going to let them do all the explanation and why it's needed, etc., etc. It's a good show in the Cook Center. I can't say enough good things about them. Therefore, I know that parentguidance.org is an absolutely excellent thing. We're going to learn all about Loudoun County schools in just a few minutes. We're going to archive the show over at ace-ed.org, ace-ed.org. That's the home website of our American Consortium for Equity. My voice sounds clearer now that I cleared it, hence clearing the throat. That's the home website of our American Consortium for Equity and Education. Everything's free over there. Go over, check it out. Our magazine, Equity and Access, all the podcasts are there, our Equity Awards program, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Again, over at ace-ed.org, and I hope you take a minute to go over there, see if you like it, share it with people, et cetera, et cetera. And now let me bring on the amazing two Jennifers. Okay, we'll start with Ms. Rojas. Good morning, Jennifer Rojas.
Good morning.
How are you? Call me Larry.
Good morning, Larry.
Good morning,
Larry.
Jennifer. Good morning, Jennifer. How are you? I'm going to call you guys Rojas and Evans for the rest of this show. You're both Jennifers. Okay?
I think that sounds wonderful, yes.
Yeah. So, Rojas, where are you? Are you in Virginia? Where are you located today? Jen?
Actually, I'm in Maryland. I am in Ocean Pines, Maryland.
Oh, good enough. How's the weather?
Yes. Oh, my gosh. We also had the spring of deception, and it is quite cold today.
Having the same weather. Okay, and then it's going to go away and be nice all week, so that's really, really cool. It's nice to have you here, Jen. And by the way, I know Cook Center quite well. You tell Ann and Mark I said hello. Will you do that for me?
I certainly will.
They're great people. And I'm going to have you explain a little more about Cook Center in a minute, but I want to bring on the Evans, Jennifer, okay? Hello, Jennifer Evans.
Hello there. How are you, Larry?
I'm just fine, Jen. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I am cold, just like Rojas. We woke up to 32 degrees today, but there was rain last night. There's nothing like watching your son play in their first soccer scrimmage in the pouring rain last night.
Oh, jeez.
So I'm still kind of warming up from last night.
Yeah, wow. Yeah. Again, it's going to get warm again. It's just a weird quirk in the weather this week, one day, and that's about it. Ms. Evans, okay, you're the Director of Student Mental Health Services at Loudoun County Public Schools. That's a big deal these days. Okay,
it is a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, it's always been a big deal. Let me put it that way. I mean, it's always been important. Please don't misunderstand what I said. But these days, post-pandemic, mental health in schools is really a serious challenge, more serious challenge than ever. Am I right? Am I doing this right? Jen, help me.
I think Evans will help you. I think we saw a spike in mental health concerns prior to the pandemic. This is not all because of the pandemic. We've been building mental health teams and a whole office prior to the pandemic to support the needs that we are identifying across all levels at Loudoun County Public Schools. And not isolated to Loudoun. I think we're seeing
it
across the nation for sure.
Yes.
But we have seen some increased challenges post-pandemic, not just for the kids, but for the adults. We all went through trauma, systemic trauma, and we're all trying to figure out what life is like now and dealing with some of the repercussions of the pandemic.
Yeah, and I was just talking to my wife. I'm older than you two guys probably put together. And I was talking to my wife. Our kids are grown. And we were just saying how hard it would be to raise kids right now, okay, with all the just so many challenges, because we both are involved in education, and just with so many challenges in education right now. I guess we're glad our kids are grown. It's so hard. I'm so glad you're working with Cook Center and this parentguidance.org, okay, to make things better for the kids. And before I go further, Evans, talk to me. Tell us about Loudoun County Schools. Just describe the school district demographically, however you want to do it.
Well, it's a very diverse school district. We have over 100 campuses, so it's a very large school district. We have close to over 82,000 students. We have very rural areas. We have more concentrated areas. We have very diverse populations. We have a lot of Hispanic. We have a lot of Asian American Indian. We have 5 different languages that are mostly used here. So very, very diverse from where we were probably 15 years ago, which is what I love about Loudoun County. You go to one school, the vibe is a little bit different than another school. And so I think we really wanted to build systems of support that really target the needs of the community, whether that's staffing, whether that's the services that we provide. We've been working to build an Office of Student Mental Health Services for over 10 years. And I think we have a fantastic model where each of our schools has a unified mental health team that consists of the counseling team, counselor lead, director of school counseling, a social worker at each school, a school psychologist at each school, and then a student assistant specialist at each secondary school. And that's someone that specializes in substance use and mental health, the assessment and treatment of them. Of those,
you have a school psychologist at every school. You have 100 school psychologists at 100 campuses.
Well,
100 school psychologists. How does that work? And I know the reason I'm asking that is because I know there's such a shortage out there. I'm just curious.
Well, we are not fully staffed. We have the positions, but like you said, there is a shortage of school psychologists. Yeah. So we have 15 vacancies. So if anyone listening wants to come to Loudoun County, we're hiring.
To recruit. Yeah, it's a good place. It's warmer
so thanks
usually
for that
than
opportunity.
Today.
The elementary schools, some of them share a psychologist, but each of the schools has a social worker, and we are just about fully staffed with all our counselors as well. But school psychologists are hard to find, for sure.
They sure are. They sure are. Absolutely. And what are you mentioned 5 languages. There were 5 predominant languages.
Well, now you're going to ask me, and I can't name them, but Vietnamese, Farsi, Urdu, Spanish, English.
Chinese, Arabic?
I think it might be Korean.
Very good.
I'll have to find out. By the end of our show, maybe I'll be able to tell you the answer to that.
Oh, I would love to hear that. That's really interesting. Kind of just sums up the demographics of the area, when you hear about that. And you have to contact speaking of parents, you have to contact the parents.
Yes.
A lot of them, they translate well into their own language. And so, like I said, it's hard to raise a kid these days, and there's cultural differences, et cetera, et cetera. It's really an interesting time to be in your position. It really is. And Ms. Rojas, Jennifer, okay? Talk to us about Cook Center and tell everybody what Parent Guidance is, which is obviously a program of Cook Center, and it's cookcenter.org, parentguidance.org, and these are and Brown wakes up every morning trying to save kids. So does Mark Welling.
Yes.
Okay, I've known them for years.
They do.
Okay, over there. They really do, and they really care, and just talk about it. I know you do too, Jen. Okay? Just talk about this. Okay? Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry we have to have a Cook Center, just like Ann and Mark and you and Jen. I mean, it's all about stopping suicide. It's tough out there, man. Woo! Talk about it.
It really is. So our real goal is to use the power of human connection and family empowerment as protective factors to really support children's mental health and really be a protective factor against suicide. I mean, that's really why we're here. Fundamentally, we know that the research is telling us that the power of human connection is a protective factor against suicide. And that connection really is that disposition that you have towards people. If you've ever picked up the phone and talked to an old friend, that when you hang up, you have that really energized feeling. That support, that feeling is the type of human connection that is so supportive of our mental health.
Yeah, it's what can I say? It's so darn important. So go ahead. Yeah.
To go back to the school psychologist, the national recommendation is that there be one school psychologist for every 500 students. And even if you think of that, think of everything that 500 kids are going through. But that's really the goal. And only 3 states across the country meet that goal. And many are 1 to 10,000.
Frankly,
kids,
I can't believe it's that many.
Kids.
Yeah, frankly, I can't. Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah, there's a terrible shortage, and boy, I hope more people go into it. It's a good profession, but what can I say? And also I have to say, just on another level, okay, the school counselors, okay, we're having trouble finding the school counselors, which is the first step towards helping the kids and all that, and it's just tough out there. So now, Ms. Evans, okay, the Cook Center, and I didn't know this, and this is what we're going to talk about today. This parentguidance.org, which I know is to help the parents, obviously. We're going to talk about how Loudoun County Schools found you. But just tell us, what is parentguidance.org? Again, a part of the Cook Center, okay? Parentguidance.org. Go ahead.
What is it? So I came across parentguidance.org over a year ago, and as soon as I met and heard about the resources, I was in. They have a lot of free resources for parents. They have something called My Life is Worth Living, which is a series that is really appealing to teens that you can watch at home with your parents or you can use in the classroom setting to just break down some of the barriers and have conversations about really important and challenging topics. They also have just a whole library of articles and resources that you can search by topic that are all available to parents. So that was what we initially implemented in Loudoun County Public Schools. And then my goal over the last year was to find a way to bring the coaching, because we all get the what to expect when you're expecting, when you become a parent. And I don't know if I shared this. I have a 15-year-old, a 13-year-old, and a 4-year-old, and they're all vastly different. And raising kids right now is really challenging and also very scary. So there's no handbook, but if we can find... You're right. Well, it would have to change every year because there's new things that are happening, new trends that are happening, particularly with substance use, that we need to stay on top of, and things that are happening on social media and new apps. So the challenges today are so complex for teens, but then they're that much more challenging for parents who have to help and support and navigate the things that are occurring for their youth. So I think parent guidance is filling that gap where we have our prevention and early intervention services within the school, and then there's treatment. But there's not a lot of in-between to help parents navigate, is this something I should be worried about? What should I do? How do I talk to my kid about this topic? How should I help them navigate bullying? How do I recognize if this is an eating disorder that my child might be starting to show signs of? There's this in-between that we haven't really had. We have our staff who can provide consultation, but sometimes parents don't want to hear from LCPS staff, and it's better received from someone outside. And the fact that it's clinician-developed, therapist-developed content that's given to the coaches really, really was a selling point for us. So we don't have accurate numbers as of right now, but even as a parent myself in Loudoun County Public Schools, I plan to be using this. I have 2 boys that are going through puberty right now, and they'd be very embarrassed for me to say that on air.
That's exactly right.
I also have a 4-year-old that is going to be quite a challenge when she grows up. So I think it fills a gap that we have with early prevention, intervention, and then treatment in the community. There's a lot of conversations that need to be had. people are uncomfortable having those conversations with their kids. I also think it's going to normalize having these conversations. There's so much stigma around mental health.
So much stigma. So much.
People don't want to say the wrong thing, so then they avoid saying anything, and we just hope and pray that things turn out okay. But if we can normalize as adults that help-seeking behavior and let our kids know that we have a coach or even a therapist, that's going to make them much more likely to have the conversation and ask for help themselves.
And thank you, Ms. Evans, and good luck. Your daughter, I'm sure, is a doll, and just wait till she becomes a teenager. That's coming down the pike in 10 years. Good luck. Let me just say that to you right now.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck. Okay, Jennifer Rojas. Okay, how does it work? Okay, parentguidance.org. Okay, Loudoun County. When Loudoun County's signs on. Okay, now what happens?
Right.
What do you guys do? Yeah. I know you're more than a website, which is, by the way, would be a good name for your next album. We're more than a website, but go ahead. Yeah.
More than a website. I love that.
More than a website to you. Go ahead.
Well, so how we step in is by helping parents to be that protective factor when it comes to their children's mental health. So with individualized coaching, families have access to their coach on a weekly basis. They can, however they feel comfortable, in a Zoom call, in a phone call, however it is that is most comfortable for that parent. But that individualized coaching is giving the family member a step-by-step program that is really giving them a sounding board for those day-to-day issues that they have and struggles that they have. So, if it's a parent who doesn't have insurance, or maybe they are on a wait list for that therapist that they need and it's just weeks and weeks away, coaching is something that they can start right away. That's, and not even to say for in Loudoun County, it's not necessarily, it's a big county. So what if you need to drive long distances to see a therapist, or the traffic, it's only 5 miles, but it's going to take you an hour to get there. So people can do this at home, in their car, wherever they are in a quiet, private place, and the times are selected by the parent. So if you're working multiple jobs and, can't find time to meet normally, you schedule your coaching sessions when it makes sense for you. So parents have 24/7 access to their coach via text or email, and they know that their coach will respond within 24 to 48 hours. The other really important thing is that coaching is completely HIPAA protected, so it is available at no cost to parents in the district, and also very private for that family member.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you answered both of my next questions.
It's for foster parents, grandparents, anyone who's the trusted adult in the life of a child in Loudoun County Public Schools.
Well, how does it, I'm going to ask it this way. Is it reported back to the school? Okay, and I know it's HIPAA. I know that. Okay, but
right.
Let's just say a child is let's take that kid who shot up the place in Michigan. Okay, remember the teachers were trying to get him help, and he came in with a gun one day, and we all know that terrible story. Killed 4 kids. Okay, and was that? Yeah, it was hard. It's horrible. It's horrible on every single level. That one. Okay, the parents are going to go to the mom's in jail. The dad will probably go too, etc. And we won't go into that story. My point is, okay, if they had called, would the school know about it? Because is it a HIPAA violation for the counselor, what do you call him, the coach, to get back in touch with the school and say Bobby Johnson, no offense to all the Bobby Johnsons out there, okay, is having trouble. They just called and whatever. Okay, how's it work in that regard? Coach to school once they call in. I'm going to ask JR about this. Go ahead, JR.
So the coach
That's
will
a Rojas.
encourage
That's
the
Jennifer
parent
Rojas.
to reach out
JR.
to the
Yes.
Just Jennifer Rojas.
Then we'll get back to JE.
But the coach will encourage the parent to reach out to those local resources, the school counselor. But the coach themselves does not have a relationship with the school district.
Well, that's it. So it's literally like they have a private therapist or a private coach or whatever you want to say.
And then a private coach, and then the coach is working under the direction of a therapist. So if that coach is very worried about, the student, they'll go up to their therapist, to the licensed therapist who they work with, to come up with strategies that that are within the realm of what they can do, and pretty much it always goes back to encouraging the parent to reach out to their local, their school counselor, their school psychologist, those local resources.
Okay, that's pretty good. And so let me ask Jennifer Evans. Jen, how long have you been working with parent guidance?
I have been working with parent guidance through the free resources for 2 years, and with Jay Rojas and Adele Winter with parent guidance. But as far as the launch of the coaching, we launched in January. So we're only about a month into the coaching.
Okay. When you say you launched, how'd you get that's actually a good point. It's brand new. How'd you get the word out? And
how did we get the word out?
How'd you get the word out? Not only to parents, but I'm sure teachers want to know about this too. Okay?
Absolutely, and many of our teachers have their own kiddos in our school system.
Of
so
course.
We have worked.
They live there. Yeah.
We had a whole team, including folks from the Cook Center and our Department of Communications and Community Engagement Office, who met on a regular basis to make sure that we covered all of the avenues to launch the information to our parents in multiple languages. We had information and materials delivered directly to each school from the Cook Center. We also had a mental health and wellness conference. Our 6th annual mental health and wellness conference was January 27th, which was very timely. Jay Rojas was there, and we had parents sign up at the table. We have a banner that is now in our administration building that they provided for us, and each school, as I said, has materials, window clings, and messaging that they have been given. So that is the blessing of all of this, is the communication has already been packaged for us. We personalize it. We add our logo. We add school name. But each principal was asked to share it in newsletters, and then we also included this in our superintendent's newsletter that goes out on a weekly basis. And we also have a spot on our website that really highlights the free resources that are available to all parents and family members.
Did the local news cover it? Did the local news cover it?
We've had a lot of attention. So, Jay Rojas, you can probably help me with who has done stories. We had Northern Virginia Magazine, WT has been, TOP has been interested, Loudoun Now has been interested. So, we're getting a lot of attention for this partnership, and as we should. This is something that so many parents need. I did want to go back to the comment about the safety concerns, because as a therapist myself, if I hear of a specific threat to someone that is named, or a school, or an individual, or even a parent, there's a duty to warn that you have to tell this person that's been threatened. So I would imagine that the coaches would consult with the therapists who are their supervisors, and that would be the guidance if it's a specific threat. And that's hard to determine.
Correct.
They would have to name someone, they would have to name a place, and the law enforcement would get involved in those situations.
Right. And how are we doing? I'll ask Jen Evans first. Jen, how are we doing? You're a month in. Okay. What are you hearing back so far?
I am hearing wonderful things so far.
By the way, I think it's great, and I would bet you most of the parents think it's great. So what are you hearing?
Yeah, really I am hearing positive. We are monitoring the amount of folks that go to the website. We're monitoring how many are actually signing up for coaching, how many sessions have actually occurred. But, again, it's confidential, so we don't know who is signing up.
Right, of
but
course.
We're going to monitor that data on a monthly basis, and the Cook Center is sharing those reports with us so that we can figure out, okay, we don't have enough right now. What other strategies can we do to promote this? I do parent presentations on a regular basis. I'm bringing the information. I'm incorporating it in slides. I'm directing folks to the website. So we will keep pushing this out there. But the feedback so far has been very positive. And our numbers we hope just to see increase over time.
Yeah, and I think, I didn't, like I said, I don't have kids in schools anymore. But I'll ask Jen Evans. Jen, are parents, they have to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Are they ultra aware of what's going on out there in schools. They have to be so concerned about school safety, their kids' mental health. You know, you hear about bullying. There was just that story out of I think, where was it, Oklahoma or something, okay, with the transgender kid. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, there's stories from all over the country. I'm not picking on Oklahoma. And my point is, okay, you know, you find that parents are aware of, they're ultra aware, and they want something like this. You know what I mean? Why now?
I know exactly what you
yeah.
mean, and I think that's a really difficult question to answer, because we have a lot of parents who are hypervigilant, who want to know everything, and they're a subset of our parents.
Sure.
I think there's a lot of, because of stigma with mental health and substance use, and those are not the only two topics we need to talk about, but it's not going to be my kid. It's not going to be my kid, right? And then the folks, they either come as early prevention. There's that subset that shows up to everything, that want to be informed. They're elementary parents. They're ready. They want to be prepared for everything they're going to have to face. And then there's this gap where kids are in the middle. They're going through challenges. Parents don't know what to ask, don't know what to do, don't recognize the trends of things that are happening, don't have the knowledge, and then they ask for help when they're already in the crisis mode. So go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, do you find, maybe I should ask Jen Rojas this. Jen, is when people use parentguidance.org, okay, is it, a lot of times, I don't know if it's even possible, is it teacher initiated, okay? Like the teacher says, I see a challenge with this child, they may tell the counselor, and the counselor might make an extra effort to call the parents and say, well, you know, we have this parentguidance.org, maybe you should look at it. I don't know. Where's the initiation come from? Does it have to come from the parents, or is it coming from the educators too?
Honestly, it's from both.
Good.
I believe it's coming from the educators and the counselors. So when the educator's having that difficult conversation with the parent, you can say, hey, here's a resource that is, completely free, that you can go to learn more. And I mean, and some of the topics are so sensitive. Nobody wants to talk about, I'm concerned my child might be self-harming. The parents need a trusted place to go when they have questions. Our goal is to really empower the parents to have a positive impact on their children's mental health, and to really teach them, how to tackle those hard topics and situations with their children.
It's so tough. Jen, what are you looking forward to with all this? What's your measure of how it's working? Ms. Evans.
Thank you.
Sorry.
I was waiting for that.
Sorry.
What I'm looking for.
Wait, really. Go ahead.
What I'm looking for is a way to reach more parents, and I think this is the missing piece. Like I said, we have folks who come for everything, but then we have folks that don't come until it's a little bit later in the process, and we want to capture their attention at an earlier point. When I do presentations and there are folks in the audience and their parents, a lot of times they come up to me and they said, I had no idea this was going on. They had no idea the substance use trends. They had no idea about just how stressed kids are when I shared statistics.
Brutal.
I can't, and social media and all of the nuances of that, and what you need to do as a parent to safeguard your kids online and that presence. And they thank me, but we're not reaching all the parents. So my hope is that with this will supplement and will reach the parents who may have barriers to coming physically to presentations.
Well, there's another thing. You brought it up earlier. And with such diversity in the schools, and you've got a big school district, okay, and you mentioned the 5 languages, the cultural differences, and I know for a fact that many of the Latin countries, okay, the parents are very reluctant to talk to schools, because the school, that runs itself, and anything you go and talk to them about, okay, is basically you're disrespectful of them, okay, and that takes a long time. That's a cultural thing. Okay,
right.
And it's nice in and of itself, but it's different here. You're talking to people from Korea who has, people of Asian descent. They have a different look at education and teachers and all that sort of stuff. And there's a great cultural barrier. How do you overcome? Let me ask it simpler. How do you overcoming any cultural barriers? Are you finding cultural barriers?
We absolutely see cultural barriers, and it's related to a variety of different reasons. One is privacy. One is we handle things within our family. One is just the ability to come to meetings at the school because of work obligations.
Right.
Some is just a lack of understanding about mental health or not even believing in mental health. So we work to establish trust at the school, but I recognize that they may not trust the school staff at any point, and they want to keep it all private. So this is a supplement to that. And while we continue to work to establish that trust, and maybe we're only going to focus on academics because that's all they're letting us do, what can we provide to them that's separate from LCPS that could give them those tools? And that is exactly where the coaching comes in, or even the free resources that are available, the webinars, the articles, if that's their comfort level. But that is quite a challenge in Loudoun County, for sure.
It is, and it's going to take a lot longer than 1 month to make it all work. But of course you may, Jennifer Rojas. Go ahead. Is that you, Jen?
So one of our it is. So thank you. So my background, my family is from Latin America, first generation, and really I think that the entry point can be our flagship course, which is Connecting with Your Child by Parenting with Purpose. It's just an amazing child development course because the bottom line is if you don't have a college degree in either education or psychology, chances are really low that you've ever had the access to a child development course. So we can start there. It's very modular. So in a 10-minute session, you can learn about how your eye contact with your child can really impact your connection with your child. Your tone of voice with your child can really impact your connection with your child. So we'll meet parents where they are, and understanding, about 5 to 10-year-olds. There's one course on that. There's another course on, that puberty age, at 11 to 14, 15 to 18. And there's even a course for, 19 to 22-year-olds that are right there in that first stage of adulthood, really thinking about, what are those challenges that kids today are really faced with as they're moving through the stages of development.
Yeah, it's the old joke. You don't need a license to become a parent. Okay, and
no.
You need one to drive, but you don't need one to become a parent. And obviously, people just don't. Everybody, including myself, obviously, you just don't know child development. And as I said at the beginning, these days are particularly rough, in my opinion. I think every old fart in America thinks these are the rougher times than when we were raising our kids. But boy, it's just tough out there right now. Ms. Rojas, I meant to ask you, how many school districts are you working with the parent guidance?
We are up to working with 322 school districts across the country in 43 states. Yes.
Fantastic.
Yes. Our reach is currently at 2.9 million students across.
That's great. Mark
states.
Welling's doing a good job over there. I got to tell you, that's pretty cool.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, tell him I said that. Okay,
I will.
That's pretty darn good. Okay, and I also have to ask this because we're talking to so many educators. Is there a cost to the schools at all to do this, Jen Rojas?
For the use of the parentguidance.org website and My Life is Worth Living, there is no cost. Our only request is that school districts put a link to those resources on their mental health landing page or on the school site, so that parents can, when they go to look at the lunch menus, they can see, I have some questions, and they can click on that and they can access those resources at no cost. The coaching, that is a contracted service that we do with individual school districts, so that there is no cost for the parents.
That's good. And speaking of school menus, Jen Evans, do they still put yesterday's string beans into today's Jell-O? Because they did that when I was a kid.
Not that I have heard, and I'm sure I would have heard that from my kids.
It was nauseating. That's all I can tell you. The lemon Jell-O with the string beans in there.
Oh, goodness.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, I think we've come a long way from that.
Right. I went to school a long time ago. We used to have to hunt mastodons, and then they started with the Jell-O and the string beans. But I'm just curious, since you mentioned.
If you think about, how old were you in 2008? Because going back to that social media piece, 2008 was really when we had that wide adoption of cell phones, and everybody, had immediate access to social media. So if you were not a parent,
Wow.
if you were not in high school or younger yourself in 2008, then you're parenting your child through something that you yourself did not experience.
Right. And look how
it's
taken over. It's all taken over society in less than 20 years. It's like the Blob from the science fiction movie. It just keeps growing,
And you also just dated yourself with the Blob reference.
Oh, I know. I won't even. I grew up near where the Blob ate the diner near Philadelphia. The Blob, the old Blob, the original Blob. Just so you notice, everybody, he ate the Downingtown, Pennsylvania diner. You don't believe me? Look at the movie.
Larry, I grew up in St. David.
Oh, there
Radnor.
you go.
Played soccer in Downingtown quite a bit. So I'm very familiar.
You'll love this. You'll love this. Do you remember the Anthony Wayne movie theater?
Yes.
Remember that? Yeah, my dad was the manager of that theater for a long time. He worked for that movie chain.
That's amazing. I remember going to see movies and then using the payphone to get picked up.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, my
goodness.
goodness.
You go. Right? Can you believe it?
What a small world.
It is a small world. Okay, but I wouldn't want to paint it, as Stephen Wright once said. You can quote me on that one. Ladies, you two are wonderful. And I got to tell you, this Jen Evans, you're doing a great job to bring this to the parents and the kids and the teachers at Loudoun County. I'm just so glad you found Cook Center, found Parent Guidance, and put this all together. You deserve the Medal of Honor, Jen Evans.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad I found the Cook Center as well.
Yeah, they're just great. And the only thing I can tell you about your kids is drop them off the block from the mall so nobody can see you. That's all I can tell you. But best parenting advice you'll get. And Miss Rojas, JR, thank you. You work for a great place.
Thank you. We are so grateful to be able to, really impact the lives of parents and kids and their connection with each other. That is our greatest hope.
That's what you do every day.
Larry and Jay Rojas, I have the answer for you, though. I don't know if we want to end with it, but the 5 languages that are in Loudoun County. English, Spanish, Arabic, Urdu.
Spanish. Yeah. Arabic. Good enough.
Urdu.
Mm-hmm.
Urdu.
Dari and Vietnamese.
What's that? Dari?
Dari and Farsi are 2 dialects of the same language. So it's
I never heard of Dari. I know Farsi is Persian. Is Iranian.
Yeah, so it used to be Farsi. Now Dari is more predominant in Loudoun County. Yes.
There you go. That's amazing. And I hope every kid learns every other language because we all need good language skills. That's all I can tell you.
Absolutely. The key to connection.
Absolutely.
The key to connection. Ladies, thank you. Good luck with all this.
Thank you so much.
I love it.
Thank you
great.
so much.
I really enjoyed it. You too. Take care and enjoy the nice weather rest of the week. Thank you all.
Oh, here's hoping.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Wow. And not only that, St. David's, PA. Who knew? Okay, I grew up about probably 6 miles from there. Right? Wow, unbelievable. Hey, we're going to archive the show over at ace-ed.org. Check it out, share it. It's good stuff. And check out parentguidance.org from cookcenter.org. Thanks for listening. My name's Larry Jacobs. Hey, have a great day. Once every 4 years, it's leap year day. Take care.